I'd like to say good morning to our U.S. Senator Roy Blunt on the phone line coming through us back at the studio. Good morning, Senator. How are you today?
Hey, good morning. I'm good. I'm glad to be with you, and I'd be glad if I was with you there at New Franklin as well.
I got to tell you something. We just finished sampling some tomato basil brat patties, and they're absolutely delicious. So, that's the good news, which is really messing me up because I'm smiling about that. But I am seething with the ruling with the Supreme Court yesterday. You have a whole different perspective on this than we, your constituents. So tell me what's going through your head.
Well, I was disappointed that we got within one vote of actually taking every line of this law off the books. 5-4, four judges not only decided that it was unconstitutional, but written in such a way that it should all be taken off the books and we should start again, which is, well, I'm not sure they would have said we should start again, but that's what we should do. We should repeal this bill and start again. And the judges almost did that. Decided it was constitutional. And I guess my view of this, Tom, as you and I have talked about this before, is there have really always been three questions to be answered here. And if the answer to any of them was no, we shouldn't do it. And one was, is it constitutional? Two is it a good idea? And three is, can we afford it? And even if it was a good idea and we can't afford it, we shouldn't do it. But I think we can't afford it. It's a spectacularly bad idea. The courts decided the constitutional issue, but the other two are every bit as important that we answer those. And voters are going to have a chance to do that in November. If the president's reelected and Democrats continue to control the Senate, this is the health care path we're going to be on, this government takeover of health care, and I'm opposed to it. I'm for repealing all of it and then looking at what we can do to help make a competitive patient-doctor-based health care system work better, where people have access to the insurance they want, not the insurance some government bureaucrat says they have to have.
Senator, you and I have talked before about this and the fact that the healthcare industry, we do need to do a lot of things, not just something. We need to do a lot of things, and it's probably going to be smaller pieces than the 2,200-page document that is the legislation of ObamaCare. Smaller pieces and fitting into a framework of a greater master plan, so some reasons and some courses to move down. What I'm speaking with right now is a level, as minute as it might be, of intelligence. When I look at that piece of legislation, I almost have to question Obama's logical sense. Like you said, it's spectacularly bad. How in the world could somebody in his right mind have even come up with this plan and stood behind it?
I think, I'm not sure the president did really come up with the plan. That's maybe to his discredit that too often he's gone to Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and said, here's what I'd like the title of the bill to say, see what you can do. And remember, even Nancy Pelosi said, we'll find out what's in the bill after we pass it. On those last two questions, 2 out of 3 Americans don't want to do this. The more they've looked at it, the less they've liked it. And it's going to be an issue in the election. Not as big an issue as jobs in the economy, but believe me, it impacts jobs in the economy because it's one more reason that people have to hesitate about creating a job for somebody else because of these health care costs. And you're going to wind up, if we would happen to stay on this path we're on right now, there will be more people without insurance, not fewer people without insurance, and we're seeing that begin to happen already. And by the way, Tom, the court yesterday did say in a good way that the federal government can't force the states to put 26 more million people on Medicaid. The states could still decide to do that. But of the 40 million people that weren't insured, that you were trying, that the purpose here was to try to get insurance for them, 26 million of them were going to be added to Medicaid. Now that states have an option, Medicaid is destroying education budgets and state budgets. Surely states won't add these people to Medicaid now. And so even the purpose of the bill, even as flawed as it is going to be a failure. So surely people will look at this, look at the economy, and say, no, we've got to make some changes. We can't stay on this path of government-run health care and government-run everything else.
In your speculation on the political side coming up in November, do we have now a base, a population in the United States that are going to be upset, frustrated with this ruling and the path that we're taking enough that we will see, while this is a feather in Obama's cap that it passed, will this be the reason he gets yanked out of office in November?
I actually don't think the ruling is helpful to Obama. If the court would have thrown the health care plan out, Obama and his friends could have forever said that it was just going to be great and it was going to solve all health care problems. And unfortunately, he was overcome by the Constitution and the court. But I think now, as people look at this, people who were concerned on Monday are even more concerned today. And it's another reason to say we don't want to become Europe. We don't want our government to get bigger than our economy can support. We want to be the United States of America. And you and I are in absolute agreement that there are things that need to be done, should be done, and can be done to change the health care system to where it works better. But those need to be done in small, understandable bills that do medical liability reform and buying insurance across state lines and letting small businesses find businesses that they can associate with and become part of a larger health care group. And if you buy your insurance as an individual, you get to do that with pre-tax dollars, just like the biggest company in America buys insurance for their employees with dollars they don't pay taxes on. And those ought to be done one at a time. No 2,600-page bill and no government-run system, a system where people and their doctors continue to make the decisions about their health care, not some government panel appointed by the President of the United States.
It's 7:44. You're listening to Hot Talk 93.9 The Eagle with United States Senator Roy Blunt. Roy, do you have different marching orders today? What's your focus now? What are you working toward? I know you have a lot of issues you have to face, other legislation you're working through, thoughts on your mind. But with yesterday's ruling, do you have a new game plan? What are you marching toward now?
I don't know that my game plan has changed very much. I have thought for a long time, frankly, that the scariest governmental thought I've ever had is Barack Obama, President of the United States, unconcerned about re-election, and as he told the right flexibility once he got elected one more time. So I don't want that to happen. I'm sure, the president appears to have some very positive qualities, but being president turns out not to be one of them. And so I'm focused, as I've got all my chips on the table. I think this is one of those generational elections where we're going to decide who we're going to be for a long time. And if we make the wrong decision here, it'll take a long time to recover, assuming we can recover. But I think people want to be who we can be, not who Greece and Italy and Ireland and Portugal and Spain and Great Britain and France and other European countries have become. And that's clearly the vision. The president clearly would have us on that path, given his opportunity to do that and to extend that opportunity one more time. And I don't like being part of a Senate that doesn't get anything done. I'd like to see the majority change in the Senate, because that's the only way to change the majority leader and the view of how we do our work.
I want to ask you one more question. I know you have to move on to other items today, and I appreciate you giving us your time this morning. I want to ask you another question on a personal perspective. Yesterday, I talked to my wife, and I said, Deb, this seems to me to be one of the most pivotal, important points in federal government in my adult life. In your perspective, Roy, can you compare this to other things that have happened in your lifetime with the U.S. government? How big is what happened yesterday?
Well, I don't know that what happened yesterday was any bigger than the day the bill was passed. It just verified that there is a reason to stay on this path constitutionally. You can do lots of constitutional things that are bad ideas. And I've said to you before, I'll be just as opposed to this if the court says it's constitutional as I am if they say it's unconstitutional, because it's just a bad course to go down. But the day the majority, the day the president and his side decided, look, we don't have enough people now to ever pass a bill like this in the Senate again because Scott Brown got elected. And even though we know this was not intended to be the final piece of legislation, we're going to vote for it. I'm going to sign it. We're going to head down this path of government-run health care. And I think that was a more important day than yesterday. But yesterday took sort of the last hope short of changing leadership out of people's hands. But they still have a big opportunity to do that. That's what elections are about. You've got one president who wants to, one candidate for president who wants to repeal this and replace it with things that would work, and another candidate for president who says we're on exactly the right path now, and people get to make a choice. And you're going to be part of talking about that choice every day between now and the first Tuesday in November. And I'm grateful that you do what you do.
Senator Blunt, thank you very much for your time this morning, and please keep up the good fight, sir.
I will, Tom. Talk to you soon.